This is the Buffett Mindset channel where we practice patience and calm wealth building daily. If you enjoy these types of videos, consider liking and subscribing. This will mean a lot to the channel. Are you sick of watching life drift by, like cattle slipping past the fence, while others ride ahead with direction and power? Are you tired of laying down at night with a heaviness in your chest, thoughts churning like a storm, wondering why, no matter how many promises you make to yourself, success always seems one hill further than you can climb? Have you whispered, tomorrow will be different, only to wake up and find the same dusty boots, the same tired habits, the same trail you swore you'd leave behind? Good. Because tonight, that changes. This moment, sitting by the quiet fire of your own thoughts, is your turning point. From this night forward, you will not drift into sleep like a man defeated. You will not shut your eyes like a rider who lost the trail. No, you will rest like a man who finally understands the truth. Your body may lie down, but your mind never stops riding. It's always moving, always shaping, either building your fortune or breaking it, either crafting your destiny or burying it. There is no pause, there is no idle gear, there is no neutral ground. The herd of your thoughts moves whether you guide it or not. So ask yourself, what orders are you giving that mind of yours as the night settles in? Warren Buffett once said, the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. That's the kind of truth you carry into sleep. Because every thought you entertain, every belief you repeat, every picture you paint in your head before you drift off, it's setting another link in that chain. The question is, will you wake up bound by weakness or armored by discipline? You will not stumble into greatness like a rancher tripping over gold in the dirt. You will not wake up with confidence and wealth by accident, same as you won't rope a wild stallion by sitting on the porch wishing. It takes intent, it takes choice, and it starts with the words you feed your mind in the still hours of the night. That's why tonight, as the rain whispers on the roof and the fire inside glows steady, you're gonna let go of the noise, the excuses, the doubts. Instead, you're gonna take on a new creed, a code of sorts. The kind Buffett himself lived by, not loud, not flashy, but strong, steady, unshakable, a cowboy code for wealth and peace of mind. You see, Buffett never rushed. He wasn't the man riding his horse wild, exhausting the beast, hopping to make it to town first. He rode steady, patient, deliberate. He let others gallop past, kicking up dust while he watched, studied, learned. And when the storm hit, when the panicked riders scattered, he was the one still sitting tall in the saddle, knowing exactly which direction to turn. That's the wisdom you're letting seep into your bones tonight. The wisdom that says patience pays, discipline wins, greed destroys, fear blinds. The wisdom that whispers, if you can hold steady while others lose their nerve, the world will hand you what you're after. So as you breathe in slow, hear the patter of rain and the crackle of fire, you're gonna speak new words into that canyon of your subconscious. Words that echo back stronger, day after day. Words that rewrite the story you've been living. Say to yourself, I rest tonight, not as a man defeated, but as a man preparing for victory. My thoughts, even in sleep, are training for wealth, for peace, for strength. I will not rush, I will not break, I will not fear. Opportunity finds me because I am ready to see it. My habits build me, not bind me. I will live by patience, by courage, by gratitude. Let them words roll through your mind the way a herd moves through the valley, slow, steady, inevitable. Feel them settle in your chest, taking root deeper than doubt ever did, because when the morning sun rises, you won't be the same man who laid his head down tonight. You'll be a man marked by discipline, by purpose, by the wisdom of Buffett translated into your own life like a cowboy creed etched into stone. The fire crackles low, the night wraps tighter, and with every breath you're releasing the old story, the one full of excuses, fear, and restless hunger, and you're stepping into a new story, one built on patience, vision, and the steady hand of a man who refuses to stumble where others fall. This is your night, this is your turning point, And from here forward, you will fall asleep not like a drifter, but like a builder, like a man at peace with his trail and ready to rise with the strength to ride it true come sunrise. Now, let me tell you a secret about the night. It ain't just a time for rest, it a forge. A man's mind at night is like molten iron, soft and shapeable. The heat of the day fades, the hammer of thought slows, and what you press into that iron before sleep cools into shape by morning. Most folks let fear stamp its mark. They lay down with worries of money, of failure, of whether they measure up. And by dawn, those worries hardened into chains that weigh them down one day longer. But not you. Not anymore. Tonight you take hold of the forge. You press into that iron the marks of discipline, of wealth, of calm courage. You give your mind orders like a general setting his men in line before battle. You say, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what tomorrow owes me. Buffett himself used the night to his advantage. He said he never needed to be the smartest man in the room. He just needed to keep his mind clear and steady while the world around him was tossing in restless worry. That's why he'd rise with calm eyes, seeing what others missed. Because while they let fear mark their minds at midnight, he let clarity, patience, and discipline brand his. So breathe deep, hear the rain falling steady outside your window. Each drop is like a lesson from the ages, small on its own, but together, powerful enough to carve canyons. Patience is power. Persistence is wealth. A slow drip fills the barrel more surely than a desperate splash. Tell yourself, I am patient enough to let wealth come my way. I am steady enough to ride out storms without fear. I am disciplined enough to say no when greed tempts me. I am wise enough to see what others overlook. Each phrase is a brand pressed into molten iron. Each phrase hardens into armor by sunrise. Picture this, a man riding across a wide open plain. Others race ahead, chasing every mirage, every whisper of gold in the hills. They gallop until their horses collapse, only to find the water they chased was sand, the gold they dug was fooler. But our rider, he holds steady. He rides at his own pace, watching, learning, waiting, and when the true river comes into view, when the real gold shows beneath the stone, he still has a strong horse beneath him and hands steady enough to claim it. That's the Buffett way. And tonight you're learning to sleep in that same spirit. You don't let the world noise decide your pace. You don't chase every glittering promise. You move with discipline, with patience, with clarity. And as you drift deeper into rest, that image of the calm rider, the steady investor, the man who knows his worth, it becomes your own reflection. Now think on this. Wealth ain't only dollars and coins. Wealth is time. Wealth is peace of mind. Wealth is waking up in the morning with no chains around your thoughts. Buffett didn't chase $1 billion just for the number's sake. He built his fortune so he could live life on his own terms, reading, thinking, choosing where his time went. That real wealth. So as you lie there listening to the rain, ask yourself, what real wealth for me? Is it freedom to walk where I please? Is it time with family, unhurried, unbroken by work lash? Is it a mind at peace, knowing I built my fortune honest, patient, strong? Let those answers roll in. Like cattle coming home at dusk, they don't need to be shouted. They don't need to be clear yet. Just let them come. Your mind is listening. It'll do the work while you rest. And here another truth Buffett lived by. You don't have to do many things right in life, so long as you don't do too many things wrong. A cowboy don't need to rope every steer in the field. He just needs to ride steady, pick the right one, and throw his lasso true. Same for you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to win every battle. You just need to avoid the big mistakes, the debt that chains you, the greed that blinds you, the fear that freezes you. Keep riding steady, and the trail will take you where you're meant to be. Now close your eyes a little heavier. Let the fire crackle low. Let the rain become a lullaby. And let this creed settle in you. I am not lost. I am not hurried. I am not chained. I am steady. I am patient. I am wealthy in spirit, and wealth in hand will follow. The night ain't your enemy. The night is your ally. It's the forge where chains can be broken and new strength can be made. So drift deeper, steady as a rider into the canyon, trusting the trail, knowing the sun will rise on a man remade. Now lean in close, because this here is one of the greatest truths Warren Buffett ever lived by, the power of compounding. Most folks hear that word and think it about numbers on a page, interest rates, or stock charts. But compounding is bigger than finance. It's a law of nature. It's a way of life. Think of rain again. 1 drop nothing, 10 drops barely wet the ground. But let that rain fall day after day, season after season, and you got a river cutting through stone, feeding valleys, shaping the land itself. That compounding. Your thoughts do the same. A single thought tonight might not seem like much. Saying I am steady or I am patient once won't change a man. But say it night after night, brand it into your mind the way a rancher brands cattle, and soon it ain't a thought anymore at who you are. Buffett didn't become the richest man in Omaha overnight. He wasn't trying to. He just let the rain fall steady. He picked the right pasture, planted the right seeds, and let compounding do the work. That's the beauty of it. Compounding doesn't need speed. It needs time, discipline, and trust in the process. So hear what you tell yourself tonight as you fall deeper into rest. My wealth is compounding even as I sleep. My discipline grows stronger with every small choice I make. My patience is an investment, and the return is certainty. My peace of mind compounds into power. Now let me share a parable for your dreams. Picture a farmer planting 2 fields. In one, he scatters seed carelessly, digging shallow, barely covering the roots. He grows restless, checking every day, pulling at the stalks to see if they've sprouted. Soon the soil dries, the seeds wither, and the harvest fails. In the other field, he plants deep and steady. He waters, he waits, he don't pull up the shoots to check them. He trusts the process. Seasons pass, storms roll through, but his field grows tall, strong, golden. That's the harvest he takes to market. That second farmer, that compounding, that Buffett, and that the man you're shaping yourself into tonight. But let ride further. Let talk envy. Buffett called envy the dumbest sin. Why? Because with other sins you might get something for your trouble. Greed might land you a prize, lust might give you pleasure, pride might make you feel tall for a spell. But envy? Envy just poisons your heart and gives you nothing in return. Out here on the trail, envy like staring at another man's horse while yours wanders off. It leaves you worse off than before. Buffett never wasted a wink of sleep wishing he was somebody else. He knew his saddle, his pace, his cattle, he knew his trail. And because he kept his eyes on his own horizon, he reached places envy-blinded riders never could. So whisper this now, let it carve into your mind, I do not envy. I do not compare. I ride my own trail, I am enough as I am, and my wealth is mine to grow. I see abundance, not scarcity. You see, envy steals rest. A man can't sleep easy if he's thinking about his neighbor house, his neighbor gold, his neighbor luck. But a man who minds his own business, who waters his own field, who trusts his own compounding, that man sleeps with the peace of a clear conscience. And peace, my friend, is wealth in itself. Now let me give you another lesson from the Oracle of Omaha. Knowing your circle of competence. The world wide and tempting. Every day 1,000 new opportunities gallop by. But Buffett never chased every horse. He picked the ones he knew how to ride, and he rode them well. He said the trick is not to play every game, but to know the games you understand and play those better than anyone else. Imagine a cowboy trying to rope wild stallions, run cattle, pan for gold, and break broncos all at once. He'd lose his rope, his cattle, his gold, and his broncos. But the cowboy who says, "This here my craft and I'll master it," builds a life solid as oak. So as you drift deeper now, you tell your mind, I do not chase every horse. I ride the ones I know. My strength is enough, my field is enough, my craft is enough. I sharpen my tools where I stand and wealth comes to me. Let the rain soak those words into your mind. Let them drip steady till they carve the canyon of your destiny. You ain't scattering seeds shallow. You ain't riding off course. You're riding steady, patient, compounding every step of the way. And as your body sinks into deeper rest, know this. The wealth you're building tonight ain't only money. It's clarity, it's calm, it's freedom from envy. It's the courage to ride your own trail. Money follows a man like that. Always has, always will. So rest, cowboy. The fire glowing low, the rain steady on the roof. Your horse is tied, your cattle safe. And your mind, that restless herd of thoughts, is finally lined up in order, branded with strength, patient with time, rich with compounding. Tomorrow will come. And when it does, you'll rise not as the man you were yesterday, but as the man you've been forward into tonight. Now let me tell you something Warren Buffett lived by every single day of his life, the art of saying no. Most folks think success comes from saying yes to every shiny deal, every quick fix, every new path that crosses their boots. But Buffett knew different. He said the difference between successful people and truly successful people is that truly successful people say no to almost everything. That ain't just financial wisdom, that's life wisdom. Out here on the trail, a cowboy that runs after every stray horse ends up with none. A cowboy that rides in every direction ends up going nowhere. But the cowboy that says no to the noise and yes to his purpose, he gets where he headed. So tonight, as the rain taps steady, you brand these words into your mind. I say no to distraction. I say no to envy. I say no to rush, to panic, to fear. I say yes to purpose, patience, and clarity. See, your yes ain't worth nothing if you hand it out too cheap. It's the no that protects your time, your mind, your wealth. Buffett spent decades saying no to the stock market temptations. He said no when the crowd was greedy. He said no when the herd was stampeding. That no built his empire brick by brick. Now let's talk about frugality. Folks laugh at Buffett because even with billions, he still lives in the same old house in Omaha, eats at the same diners, drives himself to work. They think that's small-minded, but that's the wisdom most men miss. He don't measure wealth by what he spends, he measures it by what he keeps, what he compounds, what he lets grow in peace. Out here, a cowboy with a fancy saddle but no horse won't make it far. But the cowboy with a steady horse, a simple rope, and a clear trail, he'll ride farther than the rest. Frugality ain't poverty, it's discipline. It's respect for the resources you got. It's knowing the difference between want and need, between glitter and gold. So let this truth settle into your mind tonight. I am not wasteful. I respect every dollar, every hour, every breath. My wealth is not in showing off, but in letting compounding work for me. And here another fire-tested truth: opportunities come rare. Buffett said he could count on one hand the true game-changing chances he had in his whole life. But when they came, he was ready. He had the patience to wait and the courage to act. Think of a cowboy riding through a canyon. Days of dry brush and dust, nothing to eat, nothing to drink. Then suddenly a river wide and fresh. The fool rides past, thinking there's more water up ahead. The greedy man drinks till he's sick. But the wise cowboy, he fills his canteens, rests his horse, and makes the most of the gift. That opportunity, rare, precious, worthy of patience. So you whisper this into your mind as you drift: I am patient. I do not chase every storm, I wait for the river. When the right chance comes, I am ready. I have the courage to act when others freeze. And let me give you this, partner. Buffett built his fortune not on clever tricks, but on temperament. He said the stock market is designed to transfer money from the impatient to the patient. But it ain't just the stock market. Life itself works that way. The impatient trade peace for worry, trade clarity for confusion, trade wealth for debt. The patient, they hold steady. They trust time. They know storms pass, rivers rise, and compounding rewards the man who waits. So as you close your eyes now, know this: your patience is not weakness, it's strength. It's your greatest asset. While the world rushes, while the herd panics, you will be the one riding steady, waiting for the right chance, growing wealth quietly in the dark. And when dawn comes, you won't rise empty-handed. You'll rise with the power of discipline, the shield of frugality, and the sword of patience. Now I want you to picture yourself riding under the rain. The trail is long, the night is dark, but your horse is steady, your fire burns low, and your heart is calm. The noise of the world fades behind you. The stampede of fear, the cries of envy, the temptations of greed, they're all back there, in the dust. Ahead is the horizon, quiet, golden, certain. That where you're riding, that where this night leads you. Not to panic, not to envy, not to waste, but to clarity, discipline, and wealth. And tonight, you ain't just dreaming of it, you're living it already. Every thought you plant, every word you whisper, every moment you choose patience over panic, that compounding, that harvest in the making, that Buffett way, and it your way now. So rest deep, cowboy. The fire's still glowing, the rain's still falling, and your future steady, certain, wealthy is already riding towards you. There another truth Warren Buffett carved deep into his life, one he guarded tighter than all his gold reputation. He used to say it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things different. Now that not just a clever line, that a law of life. Out here on the trail, a cowboy word is worth more than his saddle. If a man can't be trusted, he ain't got no partners, no herd, no home. Folks would rather ride alone in the storm than side by side with a liar. Buffett guarded his name the way a cowboy guards his campfire in the wind. Small sparks can burn down the prairie if left untended. Small lapses in honesty can burn down a lifetime of trust. And trust once lost is near impossible to rope back in. So as you close your eyes tonight, brand these words into your mind: my name is my wealth, my word is my bond. I protect my reputation as carefully as my fortune. You see, money can be won and lost a dozen times over. A smart cowboy can rebuild. But reputation, that once in a lifetime. Once tarnished, it don't shine the same again.
Buffett knew it. That's why he built steady, never cut corners, never played tricks, never risked his name for a quick gain. And here another nugget from the man: surround yourself with better people. Buffett said it plain: hang around people better than you and you'll drift in that direction. Hang around the wrong crowd and you'll drift down into the mud without even knowing. Think of a camp. If you ride with cowboys who cut corners, drink reckless, and lie easy, their habits rub off on you like dust from the trail. Soon you're sitting in the same mud, wondering how you got there. But ride with men of honor, with patience, with courage, and your trail gets straighter. You learn their ways, their wisdom, their grit. So let your mind absorb this. I choose companions of honor. I drift upward with the men I ride beside. I walk with the wise and I become wise. Now let's talk long term. Most folks are looking for quick wins, instant riches, shortcuts across the prairie. But Buffett knew the secret. The long game always wins. He didn't buy businesses to sell them tomorrow. He bought them like a rancher buying land to pass down to his grandchildren. He thought in decades, not days. That's the difference between men who die poor and men who build dynasties. One spends the night counting pennies. The other spends the night laying bricks for a cathedral he may never see finished. So as the rain patters tonight, you whisper to yourself, I think long term. I am not swayed by the storms of today. I plant oak trees, not weeds. I build for generations. See, long-term thinking don't just build wealth, it builds peace. You ain't tossing and turning every time the wind shifts. You ain't losing sleep when markets fall or neighbors chatter. You rest easy, knowing your trail runs straight and your cattle are moving toward greener pastures. Now I'll tell you something else Buffett mastered: simplicity. The world gets tangled in complexity, chasing 100 clever tricks and formulas. But Buffett rode simple trails. He said if you can't explain it to a farmer in one sentence, you don't understand it yourself. A cowboy knows the same. Your rope gotta be simple, your saddle steady, your fire easy to build. Too much gear, too many knots, and you end up tangled, helpless in the storm. Simplicity ain't weakness, it's clarity. And clarity is power. So etch this truth into your thoughts. I keep things simple. I ride straight trails, I master the basics, and the rest takes care of itself.
That's the Buffett way. That's the cowboy way. And it's the way you're living tonight, in the quiet, in the rain, with your mind open and your heart steady. The world outside may rush, envy, waste, and chase, but you're building slow, steady, unshakable. And when dawn breaks, you'll rise with more than rest. You'll rise with character, with clarity, with wealth compounding not only in your pocket, but in your soul. Now let me tell you something folks don't like to hear. Life ain't without danger. Every trail got rattlesnakes hiding in the grass, rivers that rise too fast, storms that blow without warning. But here, where Buffett shined bright as a lantern on a moonless night, he never rode blind. He studied the land, learned the weather, kept a margin of safety so wide a stampede couldn't wipe him out. He used to say, "You don't know who's been swimming naked until the tide goes out." That his cowboy way of saying when the storm hits, you'll find out who was building with caution and who was gambling with their boots off. Now what margin of safety mean for you? It means don't ride your horse so close to the canyon edge that one slip sends you tumbling down. Don't spend every dollar you got with no room for the winter. Don't build your campfire so big it burns your whole camp. Always keep a little space between what you can handle and what life might throw at you. So let your mind hear this clear as thunder. I build with margin. I leave space for the unexpected. I ride steady, never reckless. That way when storms come, and they always do, you ain't broke, you ain't panicked, you ain't stranded. You're sitting calm by your fire while others scatter. Now Buffett had another habit folks admired. He stayed calm when the world was losing its head. Markets crash, men panic, fortunes vanish overnight. But Buffett, he leaned back, chewed his straw, and waited. He knew fear was contagious, but so was courage. When others were selling in terror, he was buying with patience. That cowboy wisdom through and through. When a herd panics, the worst thing you can do is join the stampede. You'll trample yourself quicker than the cattle. Better to sit tall in the saddle, hold steady, guide the herd through with calm hands. So whisper to yourself as the rain hums on, I do not panic. I am calm in crisis. I keep my head when others lose theirs. That calmness, that patience, that what made Buffett rich beyond reckoning.
He wasn't the fastest rider, he wasn't the flashiest, but he was steady, always steady, and the world paid him for it. Now let's wander deeper into the firelight. Buffett also believed risk comes not from the world itself, but from not knowing what you're doing. Risk ain't riding through the desert, it riding blindfolded. Risk ain't crossing the river, it not checking how deep it runs. Most men call life risky, but truth is, it's ignorance that makes it risky. Knowledge, patience, preparation. That's your rope, your saddle, your map. That what keeps you safe while others stumble. So tonight, say it inside. Risk comes from ignorance, not fate. I prepare, so I am steady. I learn, so I am safe. And when you think of wealth, don't think only of money. Buffett never did. He spoke of health, of peace, of love that multiplies. He knew no pile of gold could comfort a man who traded away his friends, his family, or his health. He lived plain, simple, kind, ate the same breakfast for decades, lived in the same house for years. His joy wasn't in showing off, but in compounding peace the same way he compounded wealth. Now picture yourself by this fire, listening close. You don't need to chase every deal. You don't need to wrestle every bull. What you need is discipline, calm, and the wisdom to know the storms ain't your enemy. They're your chance. Every market crash, every failure, every disappointment, that the land on sale, that the moment the strong get stronger while the weak stumble home. So tonight, let your thoughts fall like rain into the soil. I welcome storms, for they test my strength. I am calm in the thunder. I buy when others fear. I rest when others rush. Buffett built his fortune not by avoiding storms, but by riding through them with steady reins. And you can too. It don't matter your station, your age, your start. What matters is patience, margin, and the refusal to panic when the herd runs wild. So as your eyes grow heavier, as your breath slows, imagine yourself on a wide plain under a gray sky. The wind whips, the herd stirs, the storm rumbles, but you, steady as stone, reins firm, heart calm. While others scatter, you ride forward, slow and sure. That Buffett way. That your way now. And when dawn comes, you'll rise not just rested, but fortified. You'll rise with a mind clear as the morning sky, with a spirit ready for storms, with patience as your compass and calm as your greatest weapon. Now lean in close, because this here truth is worth more than any nugget pulled from the earth. Time is your greatest wealth. Not gold, not cattle, not even land. Time. Buffett used to say you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. That's the one river you can never ride twice. Folks waste their days like they were endless coins spilling from their pockets. They sell their hours for pennies, chase after every shiny thing, say yes to every fool who asks. But Buffett, he was a master of the word no. He guarded his time like a cowboy guards his herd at night. He knew that saying yes to every trail meant losing the chance to ride the right one. You see, opportunity cost is what separates the rich in wisdom from the poor in regret. Every yes carries a hidden no. Say yes to drinking every night, and you've said no to a clear head at dawn. Say yes to gossip, and you've said no to study. Say yes to spending thoughtlessly, and you've said no to compounding wealth. Buffett knew this better than any man. He was careful where he placed his bets and more careful where he didn't. So whisper it into your bones tonight. My time is precious. I guard it with wisdom. I am not afraid to say no. Now picture your days stretching ahead like open prairie. You've only got so many sunsets, so many rides across the plain. Each one counts. Each one builds or wastes. Buffett knew compounding didn't just happen in the bank. It happened in your choices, your habits, your relationships. Every good habit you plant is a seed that multiplies. Every bad habit is a weed that spreads. He once said, chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. That cowboy talk in its own way. When you rope a calf wrong, it don't seem like much at first, but keep riding sloppy, and one day the herd runs wild and you can't rein them in. Same with habits. You think that little waste of time don't matter, that little excuse don't count, that little weakness won't grow, but it does. It always does. So tonight, say it soft as rain. I plant strong habits. I water seeds that grow. I ride straight so my trail stays true. Now let me tell you, opportunity won't knock forever. Buffett called it the punch card theory. Imagine you only get 20 punches for investments, 20 chances your whole life. You'd think mighty careful about each one, wouldn't you? You wouldn't waste a punch on a fool dream or a gamble or something you didn't understand. You'd study, you'd wait, you'd act when the time was right. That's how Buffett lived. That's why he never swung wild at every pitch. He waited for the fat one right down the middle, and when it came, he swung hard and true. That life too. You don't need 1,000 tries. You need a few good ones, a few moments of courage, a few steady years of discipline, a few bold but wise decisions. That all. So remind yourself as you drift. I don't chase every chance. I wait for the right pitch. I strike when the time is ripe, and when you strike, strike with all you got. Buffett didn't tiptoe when the moment came. He moved sure, invested deep, stayed with conviction. That's why he won when others lost. Now think of your life as a trail across the years. Each day is a mile marker. Some folks waste them wandering, some sprint and burn out, some stumble and never rise. But you'll walk steady, pace yourself, keep your eyes on the horizon. Each mile compounds, each mile builds. One day you'll look back and see you've crossed mountains while others still circle in the dust. Time rewards the patient. That's why compounding is the greatest force in the financial world and in the human one too. One penny doubled becomes millions. One kind act repeated becomes a life of love. 1 hour studied each day becomes mastery. But here's the catch. It takes time. Most men give up before the miracle shows. They dig for gold, quit after 3 feet of dirt, and never know how close they were. Buffett never quit compounding. Year after year, he reinvested, he waited, he grew. Like a cowboy watering his crops every season, knowing the harvest would come if he stayed true. And so it did. So as you close your eyes tonight, speak this deep into your rest. My time is my treasure. I say no to waste, yes to wisdom. I let compounding build me steady year by year, and let the rain remind you the drops may fall soft and small, but they shape the stone, they fill the river, they make the land bloom. Just so your habits, your patience, your choices, small each day, mighty over time. That Buffett wisdom, that the cowboy way. Now let me tell you something most men don't learn till it's too late. Your reputation is worth more than your riches. Buffett used to say, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. That wisdom carved deep. Out here on the range, a man's word is his bond. A handshake seals more than a contract. If you lie once, if you cheat once, if you cut a corner, you may gain a little, but you lose everything that matters. Folks won't ride with you. They won't trust you. And without trust, you're finished before you start. Buffett lived clean in this way. No fancy tricks, no crooked deals. He played fair, and folks respected him for it. That reputation, built brick by brick, drew opportunities to him like a flame draws moths. Because people want to deal with a man they can trust, a man whose word stands taller than paper. So whisper it as you drift tonight. My word is gold, my reputation is clean. I choose what's right, even when no one is looking. Now don't mistake simplicity for weakness. Buffett lived simple, but it was the simplicity of power, not of poverty. He drove the same car, lived in the same modest house he bought decades ago, ate at the same diner. Why? Because he wasn't distracted by showing off. He knew wealth wasn't for boasting, it was for building. Most folks waste their lives trying to impress people who don't even think about them. They buy what they can't afford to prove what they don't need to people who don't care. That a fool trail. Buffett never wrote it. He stayed humble, stayed steady, and let his results speak louder than any bragging. That a lesson to take deep, live simple, live true, value substance over shine. Let my work, not my pride, tell my story. And there another thing Buffett understood. Honesty ain't just for others, it's for yourself. If you lie to others, you start believing your own lies. If you cheat on your own standards, you can't trust your own mind. Integrity means standing firm when it's easy to bend. It means saying no to shortcuts, no to cheap wins, no to betraying who you are for what you want. That's why Buffett could sleep easy at night. He never had to hide. He never had to worry about being caught. His mind was free, his conscience clear. That peace is worth more than all the dollars stacked in a vault. So tell yourself tonight as you rest, I live with integrity. I do not trade my values for gain. My sleep is sweet because my heart is clean. But here a twist you need to hear. Buffett wasn't trying to be liked. He wasn't running a popularity contest. He was trying to be respected. There's a difference. Liked men bend to please. Respected men stand firm and let the world adjust. Respect comes slow but lasts long. It comes from consistency, from principle, from not breaking your trail when storms come. Think of the great men of history. The ones remembered weren't the loudest or the flashiest. They were the ones who stood unmovable. Lincoln, standing for unity. Carnegie, standing for industry. Rockefeller, standing for systems. Buffett, standing for discipline and patience. You may not agree with all their ways, but you respect their strength. So burn it into your bones. I do not chase likes. I earn respect. My name will outlast my voice. Now picture this. Every man builds a monument, whether he knows it or not. Some pile stones of greed, lies, and wasted time. That monument crumbles before they're even buried. Others, like Buffett, stack stones of honesty, patience, and clarity. Their monument stands long after they're gone. Which one do you want to leave? Remember, the trail don't end at your last breath. Your choices echo. They ripple into the lives of your children, your friends, your neighbors. Your reputation is your legacy, and once it's broken, no amount of money can buy it back. So as the rain falls and you drift deeper, let these words etch themselves into your rest. My legacy is clean, my trail is steady, I live for what endures, not what fades. Buffett wasn't trying to be a legend, he was trying to live right, but that's how legends are made. Not by seeking the title, but by walking the path with such steadiness that others can't help but follow. That your call tonight? Don't seek to be rich in the eyes of the crowd. Seek to be rich in honesty, in patience, in simplicity, in integrity. The crowd may not cheer, but in time, they will look back and see you built something rare, a life worth remembering. Buffett had a phrase he leaned on like a well-worn saddle: circle of competence. Now that ain't some fancy Wall Street trick, it's plain common sense wrapped in discipline. What he meant was simple: know what you know and admit what you don't. Don't chase every glittering trail. Don't pretend you can ride every horse. Stay in your pasture, tend it well, and it'll feed you for life. Most men lose money, lose time, lose peace of mind because they wander outside their circle. They get greedy, thinking they can do it all. They chase after things they don't understand, and when the dust settles, they're left broke, bitter, and blaming the world. Buffett wasn't like that. He stuck with businesses he understood, insurance, banks, brands that lasted. He didn't try to conquer every frontier. He didn't fool himself into thinking he was smarter than the world. He just stayed inside his circle, expanding it slow, steady, careful. And that circle fed him more than enough. Whisper this as you lay back. I stay in my circle. I do not pretend. I do not chase what I don't understand. Humility. Now that another trait Buffett wore like a badge. He admitted mistakes. He confessed when he didn't know something. In a world where men puff up their chests and act like they've got all the answers, Buffett's honesty made him stronger. See, there's freedom in saying I don't know. It frees you from foolish risks. It keeps you from betting the farm on a hunch. It invites wisdom in. Only a fool thinks he got every answer. A wise man listens, studies, and lets knowledge carve him like stone. So make it a daily vow. I admit what I don't know. I learn each day. I grow slow, but I grow true. Buffett once said, the more you learn, the more you earn. He wasn't just talking dollars. He was talking about a richer life. He devoured books, reading like a miner digging for gold. Hours each day, feeding his mind the way others feed their bellies. Most men fill their heads with noise, gossip, distraction, worry. Buffett filled his with wisdom, history, numbers, principles. That's why when storms came, he didn't shake. He had roots deep in knowledge, and knowledge don't blow away easy. Tell yourself tonight, my mind is a well, I pour wisdom into it daily. I do not feed on noise, I feed on truth. Now this part important. Growth ain't about speed, it's about direction. A man can run fast the wrong way and end up farther from freedom than the one walking slow but steady. Buffett knew that. He wasn't rushing to be the richest, he was building to be the most enduring. He read, he listened, he waited. That patience, paired with learning, turned him into something rare, a man who couldn't be shaken by the wind of the day. Picture it like this. Most men are tumbleweeds, rolling wherever the gusts blow. But Buffett, he the oak tree, growing year after year, roots deep, branches wide, never in a hurry, yet impossible to ignore. So vow this as you drift deeper into the rain and fire. I am not a tumbleweed. I am an oak tree. I grow steady, I grow deep, I endure. And remember, humility don't mean weakness. It means strength wrapped in honesty. It means you're unafraid to learn. It means you don't waste years pretending you're smarter than you are. Buffett said, what counts for most people in investing is not how much they know, but rather how realistically they define what they don't know. That truth worth remembering. Say it with me. I define my limits. I respect my circle. I stay humble, so I stay strong. Hear the beauty of it. The more you learn, the wider your circle grows. Not overnight, not in a rush, but inch by inch, book by book, lesson by lesson. What you couldn't understand yesterday becomes clear today. What was risky last year becomes opportunity this year. That's how wisdom compounds, just like money, just like freedom. Buffett never stopped learning. Even in his old age, he still studied, still asked questions, still sharpened his mind like a blade. That's why he stayed sharp when others dulled. That's why his wealth wasn't just in dollars, it was in clarity, confidence, peace. So as you close your eyes, let this thought settle. The man who learns each day never grows poor. The man who admits he doesn't know will always find the truth. The man who stays humble will outlast the proud. This is the Buffett way. This is the cowboy way. This is your way. Buffett once said, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Now think on that a while. Most folks believe success comes from saying yes, yes to every invite, yes to every idea, yes to every scheme. But Buffett knew the truth. Success comes from choosing carefully, from respecting the weight of time and refusing to waste it on what don't matter. Time, my friend, is the rarest coin you'll ever hold. Money can be lost and earned again. Possessions can be taken and replaced. But time, once it's spent, it's gone forever. You can't bargain it back. You can't buy another hour. That's why Buffett guarded his time like a rancher guards his herd. He kept his calendar near empty, not crammed full. He left space for reading, thinking, and choosing. While other men raced from one meeting to the next, Buffett sat quiet, letting his mind do the work. That quiet was his advantage. So as you rest tonight, tell yourself, my time is gold. I spend it only on what matters. I say no so I can say yes to what's true. Now let's talk about opportunity cost. That's a fancy way of saying every choice costs you something else. When you spend $1 here, that dollar can't be spent there. When you spend an hour scrolling through noise, that hour can't be spent building your dream. Every yes you give is a no to something better. Buffett weighed opportunity cost like a cowboy weighs his supplies on the trail. He didn't carry what he didn't need. He didn't buy what didn't serve his mission. He kept his saddle light, his purpose sharp, his eyes on the horizon. Most men never count the cost. They drift, saying yes to every distraction, and wonder why their packs feel heavy and their trails lead nowhere. But not you. You're learning to count the cost. You're learning to say, if I do this, what am I sacrifice? That simple question separates the rich in mind from the poor in spirit. Whisper it low, I choose with care. I count the true cost. I ride light with purpose. Another thing Buffett knew, the crowd is noisy. The world is filled with voices shouting, selling, demanding, news headlines, market panics, gossip, opinions. Most folks spend their lives reacting to that noise. They get tossed like tumbleweeds in the wind, never rooted, never steady. But Buffett ignored the crowd. He said, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. He meant, don't follow the herd. Don't let panic or euphoria guide your steps. Learn to think independent. Learn to trust your principles, not the shouting of the day. That takes courage. That takes patience. But it's the only way to build something that lasts. So as the rain taps steady tonight, let these truths settle into your bones. I do not follow the herd. I do not fear the noise. I hold my principles, come storm or shine. Now let's tie this to living. Each day you wake, you got two choices. Fill it with noise or fill it with substance. Waste it on the crowd or invest it in your dream. One man spends his day watching the market ticker, jumping at every up and down. Another spends it reading, learning, investing in himself. Which man wins in the end? The one steady as stone. Buffett chose substance. He ignored most chatter, refused most offers, and kept his mind clear. That's why he saw opportunities others missed. He wasn't distracted. His eyes were sharp because his world was quiet. Picture it like riding across a wide plain. The wind howls, coyotes yip, voices call from every direction. But you keep your reins firm, your eyes on the horizon, your horse steady beneath you. You hear the noise, but you don't follow it. You follow your compass, your star, your path. That's how you reach the promised land. So breathe this in as you fade into sleep. My time is sacred. My choices are deliberate. My mind is quiet. My path is true. And let me remind you, partner, this ain't theory, it's reality. Buffett didn't become Buffett by accident. He became Buffett because he mastered time, counted cost, ignored noise. Those three together are dynamite. Guard them, live them, and you'll outlast men faster, louder, and flashier than you.